Okay. So last meeting we discussed on the science and technology in the old age, middle age, and then in the current age, diba? So we have a run-through discussion on the types of technology that they used before, tama ba? As to how it evolves through time, and we witness na technology advances as the time also advances, no? So
Yes,
this
sir.
time we are going to discuss on the again a continuation of our last discussion, but we will focus now on the science and technology in the Philippines. So, diri na ta mag-focus ta sa ato ang country where we belong. Okay? So, for our learning objective, no, we are going to trace the history of science and technology in the Philippines in terms of its economic, political, and their social events shaping their developments. Okay? So in the early years, no, during the Spanish period, in the 1869 to 1898, we have here the a picture here, no, where the geographical impact of the Suez Canal in the 1896. So before, kaning araw diri sayop ni siya, no, it's actually, this is on the Africa continent na side, no. So dapat diri ni siya sa side sa Africa, mutuyok na siya down here, sa ubos na siya mutuyok. Okay? So ang red line, that indicates the old route, no, of transportation nila, in which muna ilahang old route nga old route sa ilang transportation sa ilahang mga goods and services, but not just the goods and services, but as well as their everything na nasa ilang country of origin, no? That includes the culture, the tradition, the science and technology. So the opening of Suez Canal in the 1869 shortened the route from the Philippines to Europe. So dati, mutuyok pa daw sila. Mutuyok sila sa Africa, sa side, no? Ikan sa Europe, mutuyok sila. Down to moagi sila aning, ano nga country ning natapad sa Africa, Sir Sansen? Oh, basta.
Philippines, no.
No, it's not Philippines. Si Philippines na diri, oh. Kamay kay si Philippines. So, South Africa nga part, sumutuyok pa na siya. So, labay siya sa Indian Ocean. Until such time, maka-reach siya sa Philippines. No? Remember that this is the Spanish period. So because of the opening of the Suez Canal, no, na-shorten ang ilahang travel time to the Philippines. Diba we all know that we are colonized by the Spaniards before. So unsa man ilang gipang bring sa ato? Unsa ilang gipang dala sa ato?
Spices.
Spices, yes. What else?
Culture.
Culture,
Religion,
of course.
sir.
Yes. Religion, yes.
Christianism.
Yes. No? Because of that, they were able to reach Philippines, no, in the shortest way. So, kana siya, they brought with us their culture, tradition, no, their spices, okay, as well as their science and technology. Okay, language as well. Tama ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there are part of the there are part in the Philippines nga nag-spoke of or nag-speak of Spanish, pero nas lagi tawag ana wrong grammar do nga Spanish, no? Okay. So in the early years of the Spanish period, no, our Filipino scientists were mostly interested on animal and plant systems. So, mo ni silang Father Ignacio Mercado, Dr. Trinidad Pardo, and then we also have Dr. Leon Maria Guerrero, no? They are into field of botany. Okay, asa galing botany?
Study of
Botany,
plants.
Dance, sir.
study of plants. So, before, these are our Filipino scientists. It deals on the interest on the plant study, no? Plant biology or the botany. We also have Aneclito del Rosario in chemistry, no? Dr. Manuel Guerrero, Dr. Jose Montes, and Dr. El, Rodario Mercado in the medicine field. Okay? So during also in the Spanish period, we also have this galleon trade, no? Which was the chief economic activity. Also din na aning galleon trade. So what are the activities during this time? So these are actually when Spanish officials focused more on the trade due to big profit. So unsa ni sila ilang mga activities before? They are into trading of what?
Goods.
Goods. Trading of goods and services as well. So because of this, kanilang galleon trade, no, which made way for the influences of their religion. Ah, yes. Okay. For a while lang class, ha? Roughly, mga around maximum of 10 lang siya nga connections. Ako ra siya ang 10. Ganyan ni virtual class magdungan ni sunay tayo simulag.
Medyo, sir.
Agoy, my God.
Pero okay lang na, sir, kay yung BPS mo na siya inyo. Okay. Ganda, yung BPS is okay.
Okay, sige. Okay, thank you. Kusog man okay, naka-reconnect ko balik sa akong Gmail.
Pero naman niya, sir, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Salamat. Okay, asa na dapit? Galleon trade. So we are now in the galleon trade, no, which focuses more into the trade due to big profits, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So aside from the trade, no, because of this, kani siyang activity before, this brought us a lot of influences from the Spaniards. Tama ba?
Yes, sir.
So mostly, no, most of the kaning mga family names nato is derived from them. Tama ba?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Daghan
sir.
mga apelyido nato nga derived from
Spanish na.
Spaniards, no? Okay. So now, after the Spaniards, we were colonized by the Americans. So the Sherman Commission recommended the replacement of military government with a civil government and establishment of free public educational system in the country. So nag-establish sila og free public educational system. Okay? The Taft Commission started the gradual Philippinization of the government and encouraged education in preparation for self-government. So it is the start of having a Philippinization of the government. So diri nagaka-slowly build ang atoang government, no, which is being kaning spearheaded by mostly Filipinos. Okay? So the Philippine public school system was established in the 1901. So there are 765 Thomasites were recruited. Okay? So the Insular Bureau of Agriculture and Bureau of Government Laboratories were established as well. Okay? So nganong naataan ni? So kani siya diri focus man ang atoang science and technology. Okay? So authored by the Dean Worcester, a zoology professor at the University of Michigan. Okay? And a strong advocate of science. Okay? Conducted biological, chemical, and other scientific studies. Okay? Nakadungay si Ma'am Zai. Anyway.
Sir, nakamute ka, sir.
Oh my God, nakamute the icon. Sorry. Okay, so again, the Philippine Commission expanded and included Dr. Trinidad Pardo de Tavera, no, a Filipino. Okay, he was included in the Philippine Commission. Okay, so from the Bureau of Government Laboratories, it was reorganized into Bureau of Science, no, in 1905. So enabled to undertake research in all fields of science. So before, in the 1905, we have Bureau of Science, okay? And then many notable American scientists were recruited as well. So quality research works were produced necessitating, no? So in the 1906, the Bureau of Science was made the custodian of the international standards of weights and measurements in the country. Okay? So the University of the Philippines was established in the 1908, followed by the College of Agriculture in Los Baños, Laguna. Okay? UPLB. So these are mga highly recognized universities in our country, di ba? UPLB, one of the recognized university in our country. So through Jones Law, no, the Philippine Autonomy Act replaced the Philippine Commission with the House Representatives, wholly composed of Filipinos. Okay? Downtrend of the Bureau of Science began, so transferred to the Department of Agriculture and Natural Science, or the DANR. So shift of emphasis from health and sanitation to the study of the country's natural resources. So the growth of science showed down decreased number of articles in the PJS and poor quality. So from the Bureau of Science had new functions. So they have regulations, analysis, and branding of commercial fertilizers. Okay? They also have control, checking, advertising, labeling, or branding of any business and commercial commodities. So the world recession in the 1930s caused further losses to the Bureau, which resulted to the retrenchment, no, okay? Loss of several divisions, reduced budget, and brain drain. Okay? So nag-restructure sila because of this world recession in the year 1930s. So in 1933 to 1934, a general reorganization took place. So DANR became the Department of Agriculture and Commerce. So the Bureau of Agriculture was split into the Bureau of Plants and Bureau of Animal Industry. Okay? The Division of Mineral Resources was converted into Bureau of Mines. Okay? So the Bureau of Science lost some of its division after the general reorganization. So the Bureau of Science, so the main thrust during the early years was on public health and nutrition. So due to the outbreak of cholera, smallpox, dysentery, malaria, tuberculosis, and leprosy before 1900. Okay? So they also did some research on the uses of agricultural products. Okay? Medicinal plants, okay? Isolation and elucidation of natural products, okay? Essential oils, and coconut as renewable source of fuel, no? Those are some mga agricultural researches before under the Bureau of Science. Now, the College of Agriculture focused efforts on improving the breed of basic crops, livestock, and poultry. So varietal introduction, evaluation, and inheritance in rice, corn, sugarcane, coconut, abaca, and tobacco. Okay? So improving the breed, feed rotation, and the quality of meat and eggs. So mouna siya ang focus sa goal and College of Agriculture. Okay? So during the war years, no, in the 1941 to 1945, this is the guerrilla war. Tama ba? Muna
Yes,
ilang
sir.
itawag nga guerrilla war. So this is the year wherein there is war between the Japan and US. Okay? So Manuel L. Quezon was the president when the war between Japan and US broke out in the 1941. Okay? So we have a very poor economy confronted with the Commonwealth and later the Republic during that time. Okay? So we have unproductive period in the research life of the Bureau. Of course, isa ba na may mag-productive ana nga time? Nga we are the battleground of kuan man, Japan and US before. Okay? So a few national scientists directed their efforts to food processing. So toyo and vinegar were produced. Coconut was converted into cocoa jam and cooking oil. So diri na ta nag-start og innovate, no? There is innovation in the food processing. Okay? And this is done through scientific researches. Okay? So they involve lots of processing and in order to come up such product. Tama ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so during the rehabilitation and reconstruction period after the war between US and Japan, so Manuel Rojas became the first president of the Republic. Okay? He laid down his policies to rebuild the economy. How? Through industrialization, people participation in the government, closer cooperation with the US, and the restoration of peace and justice. Okay? So the Bell Trade Relations Act provide free trade relations between the Philippines and the US until 1954. Okay? This gives the avenue for the US the right to dispose of or exploit, develop, and utilize all agricultural, timber, and mineral lands of the country. So sila ang itagaan og right, no? Right to dispose, no? Exploit, develop, no? Sa atong mga agriculture, timber, and mineral land resources. Okay? So the Bureau of Science was converted to the Institute of Science. Okay, so during the rehabilitation and reconstruction period, so the Bureau of Science was converted into the Institute of Science and placed under the office of the President. So coordination and redirection, no? All scientific efforts toward industrialization. So Filipino scientists directed their efforts toward the solution of the country's problem and needs. Okay, which is the big shortage of food and fuel. Public health was poor. So they have this innovation, so the conversion of coconut oil into ethyl alcohol. This leads to the conversion of coconut oil into ethyl alcohol because of the problem arising during that time, no? Where they have public health crisis. Okay? So they have a poor public health. So Filipino scientists were able to develop no solution. So how? Since they have this coconut resources, so they converted coconut oil into ethyl alcohol to address public health issue, no? Which
Yes,
is
sir.
very poor. Okay? So they also have this fermentation of cassava. Okay? Indigenous raw materials and recycled food were used as animal feed. Okay?
Yes,
So the gradual Filipinization of the government resulted in several negative effects, no? Especially on the development of science in the country. Okay? So reorganization led to the loss of records. Okay? No clear understanding kuno of the roles and functions of different offices. Okay? So there is no clear direction, no, as to the roles and functions of the different offices before. There was rampant graft. Oh, see, imagine this. There was rampant graft, corruption, and efficiency of the government due to unqualified officials. This statement was already seen, no? We witnessed here in the 1945 to 1948, and it is still very visible to this current year that we are living. Tama ba?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We see rampant graft, no?
Yes, sir.
Corruptions and efficiency of the government. Okay? We also witness mga unqualified officials. No? Wala pa gani kaayo nice nga background, nani uban mosulod nag politiko. Kay nganong mosulod man sila politiko kay dagan silang
Corrupt.
dagan
Kwarta.
silang kwarta, dagan silang
Funds.
Connections po, sir.
connections. Okay? So as we are going to internalize this, these activities were already present, no, in the history. Okay? So nag-anak-anak ra gihapon siya until the present generation. Kung ano ang puno, siya rin ang
Bunga.
bunga. Okay? So the budget for the Bureau of Science for its research and other scientific activities was at the mercy of its department secretary. So imagine, no? The time we are having a problem with the funding of the scientific researches. Okay? Kaya asa din napadulong ilang funding before? To asa corrupt officials. Kung dili magaling corrupt officials, naa sa mga useless what? Useless
Ano,
programs and
Projects.
projects.
project.
Okay? Diha nangalagpot ang mga funds nga wherein they should have put it to research and scientific activities. Okay? Ngayon diha man nila ilabay. It's because we don't know nga that time na upod sila connection just like sa mga recent gihapon nga mga activities sa ato ang generation, no? So there are officials nga connected sila ana nga company bidder. Tama ba? And since they cannot directly make kanang unsa tawag ana bahin sa funds, so they will make connection to the developer. No.
Yes, sir.
And it's really existing. Okay? So through that, graft and corruption will always take place, no?
Yes, sir.
So the post-war Philippine Science and Technology, this was during the Quirino administration in the 1948 to 1953. So President Elpidio Quirino desperately sought the help of the US. It's because grabe na kaayo kalo ang economy due to the graft and corruption. So Elpidio Quirino sought help from the US, no? President Truman proposed an economic survey mission, no? The Bell mission. So it's actually a 250 million aid from the US. Okay? So the Institute of Science was renamed Institute of Science and Technology and placed under the National Economic Coordination. Okay, which is the funding became favorable na sa ilaha. Okay? So during the Quirino administration, the Philippine economy flourished. Okay? Crop production from the 1946 to 1956, so it's a 10 years span, increased by 100%. So imagine. So we need a president like Quirino to boost our economy. Livestock and poultry production likewise improved as well. So the demands for lumber and timber greatly increased due to the rehabilitation and construction programs. No? Inani unta ang Philippines now if wala ng mga crocodiles dira sa government. No,
Yes, sir.
we should have experienced this. No, better. No, if the next administration after the Quirino, no, will have or will share the same function. No,
Yes, sir.
so after the Quirino, after the success, no, of the Quirino administration in terms of booming in the economy of the country, okay, the Magsaysay administration followed. Okay, President Ramon Magsaysay directed all his efforts to the upliftment of the rural people. Okay, muna sa niyang target. So improve land reform system, provided easy term credit and facilities, no? So kanimo niya mga programs and projects under the Magsaysay administration, no, which is goal is to uplift the rural people. Okay? So they constructed roads and buildings for the masses, provided technical advice for farmers on farm management and intensive development. Intended the duty-free trade under the Bell Trade Act. Okay? So it was also in the administration of the Magsaysay, no, during the President Magsaysay, no, where we have the highest number of scientists, as well as scientific works, no, which occurred in 1956. No, this is because due to the Republic Act number 1237, which granted special privileges to scientists and inventors. Okay, no? So Dioscoro Umali, no, organized the division of plant breeding, the Philippine Seed Board, the National Rice and Corn Cooperative Movement Program. So Fonda continued to improve the poultry industry as well, no, by introducing modern techniques. So see, as we try to improve our modern techniques, no, we also improve, no, the industry that we are in. Okay? So after the Magsaysay administration, followed by the Garcia administration. So President Carlos Garcia adopted the Filipino First policy. Okay? So the National Science Board was replaced with the National Science Development Board, or the NSDB. Okay? Raising it to a department level with a budget of its own. So we have scientific and industrial researches, okay, which were made possible, no? Studies on indigenous materials for industries, improvement of industrial products, substitution of native raw materials. So imagine, because of scientific and industrial researches, okay, we were able to make improvements on the industrial products, no? Okay, mga
Yes.
Studies on mga indigenous materials, no, which then be converted for the industrial products. Okay, so uh, because of gradually a gradual increase of the improvement of the scientific output, no, we're able as well to uh, innovate further, improve further the technology that we have. No? So it was in the 1959, which is also called as the crop year. Why? Because there is an increase in the production despite the prolonged drought. Okay? An offshoot of agricultural research breakthroughs to improve farm technology, so use of modern farm practices. Okay? So diri na, no, because of research, we were able to maximize, no, the suitable technology applied in the agriculture, no, because of mga very much mga provisions of the fund, no, sa ilahang agricultural research, no, they were able to improve the farm technology, as well as the farm practices. Okay? So during the Macapagal administration, Macapagal instituted the full decontrol program, which lifted all government controls on foreign exchange. So the country's foreign reserves were depleted, ended the protection of Filipino enterprises, unlimited importation, and the Filipino colonial mentality of buying stateside goods caused a substantial drop in sales of the Philippine-made commodities. So, diri na sad, nagsugod na sad og down ang economy under Macapagal administration. Okay? So, the NSDB was mandated in 1963 to undertake research in all fields na pod. So, through its two commissions, the National Institute of Science and Technology and the Philippine Atomic Energy Commission, okay? So, the Scientific Instrumentation Division was added to NSDB, which shifted its effort to extensive training and expansion. Okay? So, the International Rice Research Institute was established in the year 1960. Now, in the Marcos era, in the pre-martial law years, in the 1965 to 1971, so the Ferdinand Marcos national goals emphasized economic and rural developments. So through self-sufficiency in rice and diversification of crops, okay, land reform programs and intensification of community development programs, laws that adjusted the government's buying price for rice and corn, reorganized agricultural agencies to reduce operational costs and attain efficiency. Okay? So President Marcos, during the after martial law, issued a proclamation 2045 that lifted martial law. Okay? So NSDB drafted a comprehensive science and technology plan for the country. It's a 5-year science and technology development plan. Okay? It was reorganized to National Science and Technology Authority, or the NSTA. So it mandated to formulate a comprehensive national plan for science and technology. Okay? So apil na dira ato ang mga research. Okay? Mga scientific researches and industrial researches. So the following agencies were created during the after martial law. So we have the PICARD, no? It was during this year, after the martial law. So PICARD, or the Philippine Council for Agriculture and Resource Research and Development. We also have the NRCP, or the National Research Council of the Philippines. Okay? These agencies are still existing to present, no? We also have the PCHRD, or the Philippine Council for Health Research and Development. And we also have the PCIRD, or the Philippine Council for Industry and Energy Research Development. So these are actually mga funding agencies under DOST sa pagkakaroon, no, in the recent time. So these are mga funding agency with respect to science and technology researches. Okay? So NAST tackled 3 major issues. Collection of biological specimens. Okay? State of the dairy industry. Okay? Effects of radiation on the human health. Okay? So, kani imo ang collection of biological specimen, under ni siya sa imuhang PICARD. Okay? So, after the Marcos era, we have also the post-EDSA revolution, which is under the President, Corazon Aquino. No? She inherited a serious economic crisis. Okay? So, organize the Philippine Commission on Good Government, so PCGG, which created the commission as well on the human rights, or the CHR. So NSTA was reorganized into Department of Science and Technology. So it was the time of President Corazon Aquino where DOST was organized. And Pag-asa was transferred to the DOST from the Department of National Defense. Okay? So Task Force on Science and Technology Development was created in the 1989. So this was a dialogue with industry and agriculture and identified the science and technology areas needed to move to newly industrializing country status by the year 2000. So President Fidel V. Ramos envisioned the Philippines to be a country where all are provided a better life. Do we have this right now? Do we have a country where all are provided a better life? This was envisioned by our late President Fidel V. Ramos. Do you think we have this right now?
Ambot
Yata,
na lang, sir. Ambot, sir.
Pili ata, sir.
Ambot na lang,
Wala,
sir.
sir.
Wala, sir.
No, ambot na lang jud sa kawas. Okay? Because
No comment.
no comment na lang jud taan ni. Ambot na sa nahitabo. Okay? Why cannot be our country be like Taiwan? No? Why cannot be our country be like Singapore? Why cannot be our country be like Japan? Unsa din naa nila ana nga mga country nga wala sa ato? No? Maka-question sad ta nga why they are so industrialized, no? Why they are so well organized, no? Diri sa ato makita ginato nga napagigihapon ning mga poorest of the poor. Okay, sila dito ang mga poorest of the poor kay naay mga saktong lugar nga gilaan sa gobyerno nila. Kita diri sa ato kay nagkalat parang mushroom bisan asa lang makita. No? And also, their government, no, especially in Japan, no, nice kining Japan, malingaw jud in Japan. Kay I have anang relative, no, nga Japan citizen sila, no? Imagine kana ilang mga single mom, ilang anak na ay kaning allowance sa gobyerno monthly. Diri sa Pilipinas, unsa naman na? 4 piece lang ang ayuda. No. 4 piece ang ayuda pero gigamit ni mama. Asa man gigamit ni mama? Gibayad sa utang. Asa man gigamit ni mama? Gibayad sa sugal. Asa man gigamit ni mama?
Shopee.
Sa Shopee.
Pariban, sir.
Nagsalig sa 4-piece, sir. Wala nang itagtrabaho.
Nagpariban. Oo.
Paribat.
No. No? I think I always believe no nga culture and kanang tradition plays also no a big impact no role in the society. Kabalo mo nga mga Japanese are very hardworking individuals, especially mga men sa ila.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
They don't have kana ilang free time
Yes, sir.
no? Kani base lang niya siya sa akong kanyang experience na gi-share sa akong tita, no? She's a half Japanese man. So, she's working in an industry there, no, in the Toyota. So, siya, himo na siya seatbelt. Seatbelt na siya na-assign. Ilang mga lalaki dito, pag ting lunch break gali, diri sa to at uso man tulog. Dito sa ila, dili doon na usong tulog. No? Pag magkaon, trabaho na po rin na sila. Okay? Inana na sila dito ka, productive.
Discipline.
Time is gold na nila dito, sir.
Time is gold sa ila. Diri sa Pilipinas, pag wala ikahatag sa imo, nga, ikaw pa'y awayon. No, kusog pa mo di man ang mga tapulan. No. Masuko pag di tagaan. No. Masuko pag di
Reklamador,
sa ayuda.
Mura sa
Reklamador.
Sa nagihimo,
No?
sir. Sa Rabapulos.
Reklamador. Pwede some areas of Japan, no, naa sila yung village na zero waste, no? Why is that? So that certain community can participate in such activity, no, in such program, no? Why can't Philippines have that kind of kanang adaptation, no? I always believe that it is something to do with the culture, tradition, and the attitude of the individual, no? Kay bisan
Yes, sir.
unsa pa na kanindot ato mga programs, mga projects ipanghatag nato, no? Naaya tay nindot nga programs, pero ang ga-implement kurakot ang end user wala naka-benepisyo og insakto kay gikurakot so nagyaw-yaw wala ni participate. Be taken for granted. No, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Japan, Taiwan, Singapore, mga gagmay ra kana sila nga mga country in terms of land area dako pang Pilipinas. Kung pwede pa lang no, musibog ta muhawa ta diri sa Philippines, musiparit ang Mindanao mo float ang Mindanao going to the center of the Pacific Ocean then si President Duterte at ang kuan mag-lead or we will have someone nga mo envision nga mahimong independent state ang Mindanao, no? Dato ba ang Mindanao when it comes to agricultural resources,
True.
no?
Ikaw, sir.
Tunay.
Kita ba ang pinakadako og kuan diri, no? So kanang mga taga Luzon nga magkuan sila mga murag si Kinsa. Hoy, kami nagpakaon ninyo. Ali mo diri Mindanao. Sige. Hudda ni amo mga kasagingan diri. Di ba? Only if we could do that, no? Kung nalang ta isa ka single button nga pag tuplok na to, musiparit na din si Mindanao. Oh, mag-independent state of the Philippines. No? Hanggang imagination na lang tayo.
Drawing na lang to, sir.
Drawing na lang, no? So, DOST refocus its efforts on the 15 leading edges, no? Sectors that have substantial contribution to the GNP. Okay? So, agriculture, aquaculture, and marine fisheries, forest and natural resources, metals and engineering, textile industry, mining and minerals, process industry, food and food industry, energy, transportation, construction industry, information technology, electronics, instrumentation and control, emerging technologies, and pharmaceutical industry. Okay? So kani sila, no? Dako kani sila og impact no or contribution sa atong GNP. Okay?
Sir. Wala ka, sir.
Okay. Hala, dili na mulihok akong mouse. Nausa naman ni. Ay,
Ay,
naman naman
last.
ay. Last naman itang akuan. Oh my God, naunsa naman ko. Nagdamgo na jud ko ay.
Surprise.
Anyway, surprise! O, sa sina ko yaw-yaw dili. Unsa na ni last naman na nga slide. Okay, so again, so those are mga leading edges, no? Or mga sectors that contributes to the substantial GNP or the gross national product of our country. So dira gikan ang mga product that boost, no? That boost our GNP. Okay? So that's all for the run-through discussion of the our topic for today. So no, the history of the science and technology of our country.